If you've been following my channel for some time now, you'll know that I enjoy talking about personal finance. And one of the topics that I've covered in the past is the difference between a Roth IRA and a 401k. Now, both of these are retirement accounts and they're great. But what if I told you that there was a third, potentially even better, retirement account? If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tyler Warlow and I go by The Mengineer. I make videos on how to improve your life through your confidence, capabilities, and overall happiness. That even better retirement account that I just mentioned is a health savings account, or HSA. You might be asking yourself, well, what makes this so special? I've only ever heard of a Roth IRA or a 401k. And that's because not a lot of people talk about the HSA or even know about it. But in this video, I'm going to be covering some of the fundamentals, what an HSA is, and how you can use it to set yourself up for retirement. If that sounds good to you, let's go ahead and jump into the video. So real quick, before we jump into what an HSA is, we need to go back and cover some of the fundamentals. And that's going to be covering the difference between a post-tax retirement account and a pre-tax retirement account. A pre-tax retirement account is going to be what you think of when you think of your 401k. This is a retirement account that takes money out of your paycheck before it is taxed. That then lowers your taxable income, which can help put you in a lower tax bracket overall. Now, that money that you put in there without any taxes initially will sit in your retirement and grow as long as you let it, until you get to your retirement age, from which at that point, once you start taking withdrawals from that account, that is when the money will be taxed, and it will be taxed at whatever income rate you are at that point in your life. Now, a post-tax retirement account is going to be what you think of when you think of your Roth IRA. So you're going to get your paycheck, which has already had all the taxes taken out of it. From that paycheck, you can then put that into a Roth IRA. So that money that you put into a Roth IRA has already been taxed. So now it can sit there and grow until you decide you want to retire. From that point, when you start taking distributions from your Roth, the money that you take out has already been taxed. So it gets to grow tax-free, and when you withdraw it, it doesn't get taxed as well. So for instance, if you are going to be in a low tax bracket at this point in your life, let's say that you're starting off right out of college, you're making maybe 30 to 40 grand a year, but you plan to build up to a higher tax bracket by the time that you retire. Maybe you're up to like 120 or something like that. Then you retire and you still have methods of income that support that tax bracket. This is going to be an awesome option for you because the money gets withdrawn without getting taxed at that higher tax bracket. An HSA or health savings account is only going to be available to you if you have a high deductible health plan through your employer. Any other type of health plan does not allow you to use an HSA. So one thing to keep in mind here is you need to take your own personal situation into account. If you have a personal situation or a familial situation where it does not make a lot of sense to have a high deductible health plan, then you should really go with the option that best suits you. You need to weigh the costs and the benefits and really see what meets your situation the best. In my opinion, if you're young and healthy and you really don't have any medical costs to worry about, this is a great option for you, and I highly advise getting the high deductible health plan because of the HSA benefit. So at this point, I've told you what it is, but I haven't really explained why it's better than a 401k. At this point, you just think that it's a add-on to your medical plan. An HSA is something that you can defer pre-tax dollars into and set aside for the purpose of medical expenses. So it's a lot like your 401k in the sense that you are putting money into the account before it's taxed, and it therefore reduces your taxable income. Now, the great part about this is once you get past about $1,000, you can start investing that money. It doesn't just have to sit there like a savings account. Another important thing to note is it's going to depend on the provider as to what you can invest that money in. So it's a good thing to check and make sure that the funds that you'd be able to invest the HSA money in are going to be low cost and low fee funds. If it's a high fee fund that has a lot of management fees and things like this isn't going to make a whole lot of sense because it's going to take some time for your investment to start making progress. Now, unfortunately, this is a little bit different than a 401k in the fact that you can't contribute nearly the same amount. In fact, you can contribute less than what you can contribute to your Roth IRA. At this point in time, 2024, the contribution limit is about $4,300. So obviously, it's not going to make the same bang for your buck in terms of a retirement investment. So you might be asking yourself, well, if it's the same thing as a 401k, but you can contribute a lot less, how does that make it any better than the retirement accounts that you already listed? And here's why. If you have a qualifying medical expense, you can withdraw the money completely tax-free. And the other great thing about this is you do not need to withdraw the money at the time of the medical expense. As long as you save the receipts, you can submit the medical expense at a date in the future and withdraw that money completely tax-free. Yes, you heard me right. The money that you put into the account tax-free that's gotten to grow, you can then withdraw tax-free. So you're getting the benefit of both the 401k and the Roth IRA, hence why you have a much lower contribution limit. Now, there are a few caveats to this. This is only in regards to your medical expenses. So what you can do is save the receipts from your medical expenses over the years. So whenever the time comes for you to retire, you can start submitting those receipts and then withdrawing that money from the HSA for your retirement completely tax-free. Now, there is the potential situation that you might run into where the total amount of medical expenses that you have is a lot less than the amount of money that you end up having in the HSA. If the HSA is going to be experiencing growth from compounding interest, that is very likely a situation that you might find yourself in. So you might be asking yourself, well, what if I have already drawn out all the money I can from qualified medical expenses? What do I do then? Well, then it becomes like just any other retirement account. You have to wait until you're about 65 years old to withdraw the money. And at that point, it is going to act more like a 401k, and it will be taxed at whatever your income rate is at the time. But even with this caveat, this is a great option for people, especially in the sense that you can put off medical expenses, because in most cases, it's going to be far more beneficial for you to let that dollar experience compounding interest than it is for you to pay that $50 copay. And then you can withdraw as much as you're able to from your qualifying medical expenses, completely tax-free, fund your retirement up to that point, and then you can withdraw it just like you would any other account once you reach the traditional retirement age. Again, an important thing to note here is that you need to save your receipts. I recommend saving the physical copies if you can, and it's always a good idea to make a digital copy as well, just in case something happens to those physical copies, such as them getting lost or damaged. But let me tell you, there's a lot of things that fall under a qualifying expense for the HSA. For instance, there's a lot of sunscreens that can qualify as an HSA expense. If you have ever heard of the fitness tracker Whoop, that is a qualified HSA expense. So there's a lot of things that you might not realize that fall under accepted HSA things. If you have any doubt in your mind, I would just look it up. It's very easy to see what these qualifying expenses are. And if it qualifies, go ahead, keep that receipt, because eventually you'll be able to take out that money completely tax-free. Again, make sure that you're doing your research here and that you're selecting the healthcare plan that is going to be best for you and your family. And make sure if you are able to go the HSA route that you're able to invest in low-cost, low-fee funds. Otherwise, those fees and costs can take a lot out of the investment and make it maybe not as worth it. But that's going to bring us to the end of today's video. If you found the information in today's video to be helpful or informative at all, please be sure to leave me a like and subscribe to join me along in this self-improvement journey. If you have any of your own thoughts, ideas, or opinions, please be sure to leave a comment down below. I like to read each and every one of them. If you're interested in more of my videos where I talk about personal finance, be sure to check out this video right here, where I talk about the 6 levels to financial independence. If you're more interested in my most recent stuff, be sure to check out this video right here. But until the next time, this is the Mengineer, signing off.